Hello everyone, welcome again in Eng-Man YouTube channel. So in this video, we will continue our Waterflood playlist. And today's topic is about pattern realignment. It's one of the most important and effective techniques to optimize the waterflood. All right, so I take this very interesting picture from this paper. Okay, you can download it from One Petro. It's a SPE paper. So we have very interesting picture here that will describe the pattern realignment. We can see we have the left figure, okay, and then the right figure. The left one is current condition, and the right one is the following realignment. Okay, so let's see what we have here. So you can see here on the left figure, we have two injectors, and you can see the name of the injectors there. And then we also have two producers there. All right. And of course, there will be sort of connection between the injector and the producer. It's a direct connection, especially if they are close together. And we can see the connection here. So between this injector and that producer, injector 14 and producer 22, we have, connection here. And then between 14 and 3, connection there. And then between 3 and 4, producer and injector there. And then between 22, producer, and 4 injector, that's the connection. Very simple. And you can see we have, bypassed oil here that is uncontacted by the producer. The oil somewhere here in the middle somehow cannot be drained by the two producers, either producer 3 or producer 22. Right? The majority of the production in those two producers come from the sweep, the injection of the two injectors. So we have the problem here. We cannot effectively sweep or drain or produce or recover oil at the middle here. Okay, so this kind of problem can be solved, can be solved by what we call pattern realignment. So pattern realignment is basically you realign the existing pattern. You modify the existing pattern, either by converting producer to injector or vice versa. You can also realign the pattern by adding wells, by downspacing, for example, adding more wells. Okay, but of course, if you drill new wells, it will take more money, okay, than if you just conduct, converting producer to injector or vice versa. And then what we have on the right figure here, as you can see, now, for example, we convert this injector, this producer 22. You can see here, we will convert this one with the objective, with the expectation that the water from this well that has been converted to injector can sweep oil in the middle and then sweep it to this producer 3. Okay, so you can push the oil at the middle by injecting water, and this is the water. Okay, basically you can convert either producer 22 or producer 3 into injector, only one of them. And you expect that the injector, the new injector that has been converted from producer, will inject water that will push, that will sweep the oil, the bypass the undrained oil at the middle towards the producer, towards the closest producer. Okay, so that's basically a very simple logic that can be very effective in pattern realignment. Okay, so I hope that's clear. And also I take some note from this paper, and I think it's very important if we can read it together. It's very interesting. And the author put it in a way put the statement in a way that's very, understandable, and the statement is quite effective. So let's read it together. As a water flood develops over time, water is consistently injected into the same injection wells and then flows through the targeted formation. Okay, we already know that. Pushing unswept oil along with it toward producing well. So that's what we have here. Okay, so the water will be injected by the injector, by the water injection well, and it will push the unswept oil towards the producer. Okay, that's the ideal condition at the beginning. However, once the injected water has contacted the same areas of the formation for an extended time, which occurs every day in water flood, we inject the water for an extended time, the water flood ceases to produce additional oil because it isn't contacting any new oil in the established flow path. So what I called earlier as connection, that's basically established flow path, and the water will tend to flow towards or through that established flow path. The water will rarely try to find new flow path. No, because it's easiest for the water to flow through the same established flow path, because now we have high saturation flow path, high water saturation flow path that will give high relative permeability to water. So the water will only prefer to flow through the established flow path that already has, high water saturation and high relative permeability to water. So the water will not contact any new unswept oil. Okay, and that's the problem that we want to solve by pattern realignment. Pattern realignment is done by converting existing producers to injectors. Okay, so mainly here, pattern realignment is defined by or is done by converting existing producer to injector rather than adding new producer or new injector. Okay, so that's what we use the term here in this paper. Okay, so pattern realignment is done by converting existing producers to injectors, which will then create new flow path through the unflooded central areas of existing patterns. So that's very beautiful statement here. So by converting or by putting new injector, which come from the conversion, we will establish new flow path through the unflooded central or middle areas of existing pattern. That's what we have here. It's a new flow path for the water, and it will flood the unflooded central area, thereby displacing untouched oil toward remaining producers in patterns. So by creating new flow path, the water will flood the unflooded area and then displace the uncontacted oil, undrained oil, or untouched oil towards remaining producers in the pattern. It's very interesting statement, all right? And lastly, this approach achieves the same objective as a downspacing program, which is to contact previously unswept areas of the patterns, but for a fraction of price. Okay, so they make distinction. Pattern realignment is only by conversion, and downspacing is by adding more wells, conducting infill drilling. Okay, but other authors use, they just mix everything, either conversion and infill drilling, into the same definition of pattern realignment. Okay, but that's not the problem. If we focus only on this paper, then we can say that pattern realignment is conducted by conversion, and it is cheaper than downspacing program. Okay, in pattern realignment, you convert a producer into injector. You expect to establish new flow path that will displace the untouched oil towards remaining producers. In downspacing program, okay, you add more wells. Okay, you either infill conduct infill drilling for producer, for new injector, for new producer, by the expectation that you can contact the previously unswept areas. Okay, but of course, downspacing will be more expensive because you drill new wells. Let's say you will need of dollars, whereas for the conversion in pattern realignment, you just need conversion, which is much cheaper. Let's say it's $100,000. Okay, so pattern realignment is only a fraction of price compared to the infill drilling or downspacing program. Okay, so I think that's it. I hope, and I think it's quite clear. So in this video, we have discussed about pattern realignment. Thank you so much for watching and see you again in the next Waterflood videos. Thank you.